Hello guys and welcome here to the Jello Cup Series. This is the regular season finale here today from the Darlington Motor Speedway. This is the regular season championship. It is the Southern 500. I'm Brian James here bringing you coverage. It'll be Dan Hummel and Monaghan Scott making up your front row here today. Let's take a look your playoff scenario as we enter today. Tim Randolph, he picked up a win last race. That will solidify him in the playoffs. Dylan Young is still leading the points by 34. So in a way he has to be offensive, but at the same time he has to be defensive because this is a double points race. There's still a lot of points up for grabs. And again, we want to point out the guys at the bottom: Mitchell Collins, Patrick Smith, Nathan Baden. They need to finish as far ahead as they can, knowing that guys like Brad Stover, Ben Crouch, Scott Upton could pounce on this opportunity. Matt Hussey, he mathematically can't race his way in on points. He would have to lead the most laps and or win the race to get in and obviously get back into the top 30. So that would be the big thing for him. For Maratz, he just needs to get into the top 30. Then he complicates the picture. Chris Smith, he made the race. He pretty much has to win and hope for the best. There are guys, like I said, that could win this race, because keep in mind, this is a double points race. This is a double playoff points race. There are guys who could win for the first time this season and still make the playoffs over these guys with 5 points, because compared to the 5 points you get for winning a double points race, because it is a marquee event on the schedule, this gives out 10 playoff points to the winner. So again, a lot at stake as we get going here. And I think the pressure doubles because there are guys up front who need to just survive. And then there are guys in the back who have to go for broke and do everything, as Austin would say, go for broke. I mean, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out, and that's just to say the least, because keep in mind, the front row is made up of guys who are winless right now. So either of these guys could also punch their ticket into the playoffs with a win today. We'll see what happens, though. This is the Jello Cup Series. This is race number 26, the regular season finale, the Southern 500. Here at Darlington. Let's roll the intro, and we'll be right back with your starting lineup in just a moment.
Through turn 4. It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. 96. Wins the race at Coda. Ryan Knox is going to win at Watkins Glen. 7. Got this. All right. Ryan got this.
Here we go. Starting lineup is on the left-hand side of your screen. Again, I remind you, I personally, if I had to pick a favorite today, I'm telling you, I'm keeping an eye on Dylan Young here in the 2. He is the point leader. He has the best chance here. He's starting up front. Austin Shaw, also a winner here in the Carvana wildcard. Those are guys probably to keep an eye on. Is Dan Hummel and Monaghan Scott lead us here to the green flag. The Southern 500 is underway. Oh, someone blew an engine back there. And it just separated the whole field. It is Jean Sanford. She didn't cause anyone to crash with her, though. So that's some good news. But she's gonna... Oh, yep, there we go. That is a tough break for the 53. Keep in mind, the 53 has 6 playoff points. So they should be good, but obviously it all depends on if they stay in the top 30 after this race. But I believe Gene Sanford's good. By the way, stay tuned, because after we show you your results today, we will show you who made the playoffs and who didn't. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, Dan Hummel is leading right now. You saw the 10 Amina Monroe try to put some pressure on him. But keep in mind, Dan Hummel, he wants to run away with this thing. He really wants to run away with this thing in the 25. We'll see if he's able to. Of course, Gene Sanford, you saw there, a clutch issue ends the 53's day. And that is a really tough break for Gene Sanford. And of course, that's going to separate the field quite a bit. As you saw at the beginning, everyone had to scatter to get away from her. So that's a tough break. A guy we'll be keeping our eyes on today, not just the 25 of Dan Hummel leading this race right now, but another guy who we have to keep an eye on in this race is Dylan Young. Keep in mind, he is the points leader entering today. He needs a good result. Mitchell Collins, his teammate, is still in that battle for the regular season championship. He's in 33rd right now. Keep an eye on those two, as this could be a Team Penske battle the entire way. See, we come to complete lap number 5 now. Dylan Young's under pressure for 8th. Up ahead, the battle for the lead is on. Dan Hummel trying to hold off the 10 Amina Monroe. And Monroe, keep in mind, she's on the cusp of falling outside of the top 30. Entering this race, a win for her would solidify her playoff spot with her teammates. Zach Fitzwater, he's won 2 races. He's in. He's for sure in the playoffs. Stacy Stickler, the 500 winner, she's for sure in the playoffs. Alexander Rowe, he's pretty much in. He's got 6 playoff points. Barring any circumstances, he should be in. And then, of course, Amina Monroe, a one-time winner at Texas, just looking to keep her name relevant in the picture here, but she's been basically the 4th wheel. Here goes Ahmad Mihailovic for 2nd. Keep in mind that 66, if he somehow comes out with the win today, Ahmad Mihailovic could very well. He can't make the playoffs. He's well out of the picture for that, but he could very well steal some of these valuable playoff points from these guys. That's a possibility. And we'll keep an eye on him in the MBM Motorsports 66 car. Dan Hummel has led a lot of laps so far. I just saw someone on the pit lane trying to figure out who. It looks like the 2 of Dylan Young. No, correction. Oh, it's the 41 of Stacy Stickler. Oh, she's got a little damage. It looks like she got hard into the wall. that is a tough break for the race, or for the Daytona 500 winner. And they're up on the jack trying to fix the 41. Damage for them. Tough break. See Charles Sanford now in the top 10. Dylan Young just crawled back in. We start the playoffs at Kansas next race. With the Digital Ally 400. Then we go to Rockingham for our first trip of the season there. Both of them first-time visits. Circuit of the Americas is the next one. That is also a first-time visit this season. That'll wrap up round number 1. So Kansas, Rockingham, and Circuit of the Americas. By no means an easy round as Mina Monroe looks for the lead. She might get it here, and she will. Mina Monroe to the lead. And Dan Hummel's pinched on that high side. That's... oh, man, it looks like he got hit by the 66. That is a tough break for Dan Hummel. Now he'll try to battle back to the high side. He just won't be able to do it. Jeff Scott gets third. Keep in mind, Jeff Scott could make the playoffs with a good run here today. He's going to have to go inside of Ahmad Mihailovic, though, in the 66 in this corner, and that won't happen. But Dan Hummel now has his sights set on getting back to the front here. We'll see if he can do it. Here comes Jeff Scott looking for second. And will pit this time. Keep in mind, there are going to be a lot of deferring strategies, I'm sure, in this race to gain some track position as Carter Joey stays out to lead a lap. Keep in mind, Carter Joey is one that is battling for the regular season championship. So for him to be running up front and getting these valuable points, it's huge for this team. And this is something Dylan Young does not want to see. I believe Charles Sanford is also still potentially in that battle for that. And now Sanford will pit. You see a bunch of others that stayed out there. Now Stickler pitted earlier, but of course Stacy Stickler well out of this battle. Because she hit the wall, did some significant damage to the side of that car. So Stacy Stickler well out of the battle here at Darlington. Let's see if the 95 wins the race off. If they're just coming off the pit lane now, they're not going to beat. I don't think there's any way they beat the 10 off, and they do not. Mina Monroe back to the race lead. See Tyler Faden picked off the 25. See Patrick Smith, the Canadian, up front. He, of course, is borderline making the playoffs right now. Here goes Jeff Scott looking for second. He won't get it this time. Mina Monroe continues to lead. Keep in mind, she's looking for the 2 playoff points here, and possibly her second career win. Because she gets that second, or if she gets those 2 playoff points, it pretty much solidifies her into the playoffs. Here goes Jeff Scott. He wants second. He'll get it. And now Jeff Scott will set his sights on the race leader, who's about to be held up by Mina Monroe, the damaged race car, her teammate. Yeah, she's really being held up by her teammate, and she's got to be saying, "Are you kidding me?" Right now, Mina Monroe being held up. You can tell the 41 is by far slower. And this will allow Jeff Scott to go for the lead. Not quite. It'll be about who can get around the 41 quicker. It's the line this time. Jeff Scott will lead the lap. And 2 bonus points for the 51. But again, Mina Monroe holding up that middle lane. It's bringing all the leaders back together. Lap traffic really having an impact here. So I believe Mina Monroe will lead that lap. Yes, she will. And it's now an 8-car battle for the lead right here. Who can get around the 41? Still no one can get around the 41. And I'm sure race control now warning the 41 to get out of the way because she's pretty much just stalled out any momentum these race leaders had. Oh my goodness, this is like pace car caution sort of thing right now because the 41 is just absolutely doing everything she can to hold them up. And now the 51 looks inside. Oh, they wreck. Jeff Scott had enough. He wrecks. And a huge wreck in turn 3. A bunch of guys involved. Austin Shaw being one of them. Hillary Sanchez. Caution is out. Rihanna G in the 65. He blows up. Ahmad Mihailovic leads us back to the caution flag. And Jeff Scott just, I don't know what he did there, but he sure shot himself in the foot as far as his playoff hopes go. Just not the right move to be making. He shoots himself in the foot, and this will hurt his playoff chances now. But you could tell there he just got a little impatient. He was so sick of sitting behind this 41. Essentially just kind of put her in the wall and said, move it. I imagine there are going to be a lot of hurt feelings after this race. See, right side's go on the 66. They're going to go for a 4-tire stop. Keep in mind, they are dead last in the points entering this race. A win. Oh, 66 is held up. And Carter Joey will win the race off. Not what Dylan Young wants to see. So let's go see what happened. You just really can't pin the blame here and say that, the 41 came down. It was Jeff Scott just got frustrated and drove it right in the corner and said, if you're not going to move, I'm going to move you. And Stacy Stickler kind of just, unfortunately, went up into the wall, and it hurt Jeff Scott more than it helped him there. Again, just a narrow track, and you see there's 51 gets hit quite a few times. There are guys sliding into this wreck. And just a lot of damage sustained for some of these guys. Dick Clark flips over. That's just a tough break, especially for Jeff Scott, who was battling for the lead there. He had to be aggressive, but not that aggressive. As now we'll take you back to the green. Here we go. We're going to have about 30 to go when we go back racing. It'll be Carter Joey, Dan Hummel, Dylan Young, Patrick Smith, Ahmad Mihailovic, your top 5. Then it'll be Tim Randolph, Mina Monroe, Casey Naneko, Charles Sanford, and Kevin McHugh. That is your top 10. And now the question will be, keep in mind, Carter Joey is in this regular season points battle for the championship. Can he take it away from Dylan Young? Green flag is in the air. We're back underway. The 95 gets a good launch. Exactly what they needed. But Dylan Young is closing on the 25. And again, keep in mind, Dylan Young, a must-win for him right now to be the regular season champ. It would also propel him to the number 1 seed if he could win. See Charles Sanford back there making a few moves. Now Dan Hummel looking for the lead. He had to lift a little bit, but he got a good run through the middle of the corner. And now Dylan Young looks for second. Oh, 25's in the wall. 95 coming to the pit lane. An issue for the 95 car of Carter Joey. And Dan Hummel now the race leader. But you saw him get his Darlington stripe. Now Dylan Young, being a veteran, all 5 seasons here in the Jello Cup, he's now going to put all the pressure in the world on this 25 if Patrick Smith doesn't do it to him. Man, Patrick Smith doing everything he can right now. He knows his championship defense is at stake here. Dan Hummel will lead another lap. Patrick Smith's going to look for second. He didn't know if he had enough room. He does. He makes room. And he'll go around Dylan Young. And so will Ahmad Mihailovic and Tim Randolph. But again, no concerns if the 2 loses a few spots now. Because the 95 Carter Joey just made an off-sequence stop. They're back out. Looks like Chris Smith joined them. But if we get a caution, that'll pin those guys a lap down and ultimately end Carter Joey's day. Dan Hummel continues to lead. He knows a win puts him in. And he runs it pretty well through those corners. You see Patrick Smith there trying to block the low lane. Dan Hummel, whatever adjustments they made to that 25 sure worked. Because he's running away, and whatever they did to the 35 to get him out in front, they must have gone 1 or 2, or 2 tires or 4. I'm assuming 2. Because they just are not able to hold off the 66 very well. And the 66 trying to look low again, the 35 blocking up the middle to try to defend any run made by that 66. See, there he gets a little separation now. He's got to get a good run through turns 3 and 4 and really set himself up for 1 and 2. And he does. He really propels through turns 3 and 4 there and closes a great deal. At least 7/10 on the leader. Maybe he's got a long run car too. Patrick Smith is there, putting the pressure on the leader. Defending champ and rookie there. You can tell right now the 35 is just slightly quicker than the 25 is. So the 25 is definitely set up for the short run. $20 to go. Here goes Ahmad Mihailovic into turn 3. It's not really a good passing area, but he'll make it work. Maybe. No, the 35 gets a good drive off the corner. He'll keep second for the time being. If you're going to set up to pass, you got to do it in turns 1 and 2. Oh man, 66 just put the bumper to the leader there. Or 66 put the bumper to the 35 as Charles Sanford will go to the race lead. Boy, would Charles Sanford kill to see a caution right now. And he won't get one. He'll end up coming to the pit lane with Samet Ozkan, Casey Naneko. Brad Stover, another one trying to race his way in to the playoffs. Dick Clark coming in. Now Carter Joey is off sequence, so he probably has one more stop. Chris Smith also pitted with them. So we'll see what happens. See Ahmad Mihailovic comes out ahead of the 35 after putting the bumper to him coming to the pit lane. There goes the 14 and others. 96 is off as well. Another lapped car holding up everybody, or holding up Dan Hummel. This time, Chris Smith is like, I'll move out of the way, let you have it. As Carter Joey leads the race once again. But it won't be for long, because once again, the 25 has fresher tires right now. Battle for the lead right here. And Carter Joey lifts. He says, go ahead. You're faster. And it all depends on where these guys catch them. See, Patrick Smith caught the 42 at just the wrong place. Now he's going to be held up. Ooh, Mitchell Collins made a very, very dicey move on his teammate. I don't know if that's the Penske way necessarily. See, they're a 3-second advantage for Dan Hummel. And the 95 is holding him up. And now the 95 pits, and again a dicey move for Mitchell Collins. Keep in mind, he knows he's battling for the regular season championship against his teammate, but he sure ain't racing him like a teammate. He just said, out of my way. the F out of my way. I got a championship to win. And Dylan Young had to be sitting there saying, hey, come on, man, cut me a break. Don't wreck me for it. See, Mitchell Collins is up to third. Ahmad Mihailovic still in second, having an excellent day here in this double points event. Coming to 11 to go this time. We want to keep our eyes back here. Keep in mind, Ben Crouch top 5. Damage to the car. Is he potentially holding these guys up? And he is. Because there goes Patrick Smith. That's the guy he's trying to battle right now to make the playoffs. So he's going to race Patrick Smith as hard as he can right now to not allow him by. And there, Samet Ozkan tried to do the same to the number 5 there. Because he knows his teammate is in this battle to make the playoffs. So possibly some team orders. Ben Crouch still ahead, but of course, with that 35 right there, that doesn't help him right now. He needs to go up front and try to lead this race, but of course he's got a long ways to go and not enough time to get there without a caution. And that's exactly what these guys need to catch the 25 of Dan Hummel, who's pretty much, I believe, led the most laps today. So that should get him an extra 2 bonus points and the 2 playoff points. Could this be the second straight season that this slips away from these guys? Because Patrick Smith, I believe he was just ahead of Nate Faden entering this race. I mean, I think Patrick Smith should be good. I'd be led to believe that the 35 should be fine right now. Of course, a 45-point advantage entering this race over Ben Crouch, and now he gets around Ben Crouch and makes it happen. But now Brad Stover trying to get around the 35 and will do so. Keep in mind, Brad Stover's about 30 plus points back of Patrick Smith at this moment. The big question, let's see, do they pit again? No, because I think there are another cycle of stops coming up. The 3 of Nate Faden is in 20th right now. This is exactly what these guys want to see. As you see Hillary Sanchez peel off, this will start another cycle of stops, I believe. But Nate Faden, he has, I believe, made the championship for the last 2 seasons, or has come very close. That's all in jeopardy of making another playoff appearance. 5 laps to go, leaders are in, or the leader is in. That'll hand the lead to Ahmad Mihailovic. Mitchell Collins is in second. This is not what Dylan Young wants to see right now. Ahmad Mihailovic in first. He'll pit this time. So will the 22. The 14's in the wall. That's going to cost him some time. 35 is in. They don't want to lose much time to the leader. Meanwhile, these guys that stayed out the extra lap, Charles Sanford, he knows he's got a lot to lose right now. Brad Stover, he knows he's got a lot to lose right now. With 3 to go. He's probably hoping for a caution. And he's not going to get one. He'll be forced to the pit lane. So will the 96. Samet Ozkan will stay out and lead the race. I don't think he's got enough with 2 to go. Keep in mind, the 25 has won the race off. He's way ahead right now. There's Mitchell Collins, though. Can he beat the 25 off the pit lane? He barely does, but it won't be enough to hold him off. White flag is out. There's the other guy who stayed out, Ahmad Mihailovic. He avoids going a lap down. White flag is out for Samet Ozkan. Samet Ozkan doing everything he can to prevent another winner this season. You see Brad Stover's off the pit lane. There, through turns 3 and 4, he's going to pit. He's going to pit. And the question is, does he make it back around? If he doesn't, Ahmad Mihailovic will win the race. Oh man, where's this pit stall? It's on the pit. It's past start finish. Samet Ozkan gets win number 2 at Darlington. And this should propel him. He had 7 playoff points. That win will tie him with Tim Randolph for the most this season. But now the question remains, who is the regular season champ? I'd like to believe it's Dylan Young right now. Mitchell Collins got 5th. Patrick Smith got 7th. Brad Stover got 4th. I believe Patrick Smith is in. Possibly Brad Stover. Keep in mind, Stover was 30 points back. Nathan Faden got 19th. That's 15 positions back. That's about 30 points. If they are tied right now for that final position, keep in mind Nate Faden won before Brad Stover did. So Nate Faden would get the playoff position. We're going to find out in 15 seconds when we come back with your post-race show, but first let's show you your results. Here we go. Here are your end of the regular season standings. You see Dylan Young. He will be your Season 5 regular season champ. Then you got Mitchell Collins, Carter Joey following him, Patrick Smith. Dan Hummel gained a lot of positions, but it is a heartbreak for him. He led the most laps and did not win the race to advance to the playoffs. Samet Ozkan will now be the number 1 seed in the playoffs, but he will be tied with Tim Randolph. Dylan Young will be the third seed rather, as now we're going to show you the playoff order. So as you can see, it's Samet Ozkan, Tim Randolph, Dylan Young, Stacy Stickler, Trevor Collins, Zach Fitzwater, Mina Monroe, Carter Joey, Muhammad Zain Abdullah, Dick Clark, Tim Horton, Gene Sanford, Alexander Rowe, Mitchell Collins, Patrick Smith, and Brad Stover. That is your playoff grid. And Brad Stover, by the way, I know I was questioning it at the end of the race. Did he get in? Did he not? Well, he got in, but he got in because he led a lap in the race. If it wasn't for those 2 bonus points for leading a lap, or had Nathan Faden finished 1 position higher, he would have been in the playoffs. So that just goes to show you the value of leading laps here in the Jello Cup Series. And that is a tough break, a heartbreak for Nathan Faden, that his season will come to an end essentially on the fact that he did not lead a lap and fell by 2 points because of it. So that is a tough break, but congratulations to the 16 drivers who will make up the Jello Cup Series round of 16 for the playoffs. Congratulations to Patrick Smith, who will now defend his championship officially beginning now. And congratulations to Samet Ozkan, the winner today here at Darlington. Again, we want to show you your standings, and we want to thank you for watching. We will see you for race number 27 at Kansas. Until then, goodbye, everyone.